course, our main game today was Real Madrid against Mallorca. Real Madrid safely through to the next round, 3-0. All the goals coming in the second half. Alex Kirkland was there for us, and he joins us now. In the end, Alex, the quality shone through in the second half. Real Madrid, as they do in these competitions, showing their worth.
Yeah, and it felt like a really comprehensive win in the end with that scoreline, with those two extra goals coming so late on. But it was 1-0, you know, and even that first goal came in the second half, and Madrid really had to work for it. But it felt, yeah, like the pressure kept building and building and building, and eventually I think the breakthrough was always going to come. But as long as it was 1-0, there was always a chance that Mallorca could nick it. Most of the post-match focus here, just been listening to the press conferences and in the mix zone as well, has been on the sort of the scuffle on the field after that third goal around the full-time whistle as well. There was a bit of needle right the way through the match involving Vini Jr. and Pablo Maffeo, as we talked about earlier. That really continued with some of Vini's Madrid teammates getting involved with Maffeo as well. Some comments after the match as well from Aurelian Tchouameni saying there's one Mallorca player in particular, referring to Maffeo, who's always causing trouble. Ancelotti trying to play it down. Ancelotti saying, look, it was unnecessary from both teams. He said, I'm not blaming the Mallorca players, I'm not blaming my players either. It was unnecessary because the match was already done. And Ancelotti said he went onto the field himself to try and keep the peace.
Maffeo's got a nice smiley face tattoo, Shaka was pointing out. Alex, would you ever go for that? Little smiley face tattoo on the neck?
I'm not sure it's quite my look. What do you think?
I would like to see that.
I'd like to see Craig with a smiley face tattoo on it.
I'd like to see Craig with a smiley face. Anyway, let's focus on what's going on around Dani Olmo. Shut up, I'm talking to Alex. Alex, Dani Olmo, is that done and dusted now? Do I never have to ask you about it again?
I mean, it's never done and dusted, is it? Don't get your hopes up. No, because of course this injunction, which enables him to be registered for now, is only temporary. So at some point, this has been granted so that the Spanish Sports Ministry can consider this case properly and rule on it. But we don't know how long that's going to take. It could be months. It could be quite some time. For now, he's registered and he's available, and let's see if he plays in this Classico Supercopa final we've got to look forward to on Sunday, which of course is the final that the organisers wanted, that a lot of the fans here wanted as well, and it's going to be fascinating. Ancelotti asked about that as well in the post-match presser, and he said, look, Classicos recently, you take a look at the results, it's been unpredictable, and it really has. You look at the results the last few years, there have been some big scorelines, but from both sides, you know, some for Madrid, some for Barca. Quite often the team that's won big in the Classico hasn't gone on to win the league, it's been the other way around, so it has been very difficult to call, and I expect this one to be the same.
How's Laporta dealing with this all, Alex? Because he's not one to hide his emotions. Yeah, with typical restraint. No, not at all. There were those brilliant images that we may well have seen on the show over the last few days of him reacting to the Dani Olmo news, really quite visibly and physically, basically punching the air in the VIP boxes here. And in fact, there have been some reports here, which we haven't been able to confirm personally, but reports of Laporta then in the VIP boxes being very vocal with some of the Federation executives as well, because of course it was La Liga and the Federation who'd come out together and denied the request to register Dani Olmo. That's now been overturned temporarily, as I say, by the Sports Ministry. So Laporta apparently was not quiet in the minutes after that news broke, and he was very, very vocal about how pleased he was about Dani Olmo being registered. And he views this as, I guess, as a victory in the short term. That doesn't take away the fact that the whole saga, I think, really has been quite embarrassing for Barca. One last thing to Barcelona's Player of the Season just a couple of years ago, Araujo linked to Juventus, really?
Yeah, and he's a player who could be on the move this month. There is interest from Juventus, there's been interest from elsewhere as well. We know that Barca's financial situation means that potentially they'd be open to deals for players who you wouldn't necessarily expect them to be willing to let go. And Araujo is one of them. You look at the defensive options Barca have got, they've got players who can cover at centre-back, at full-back. Araujo is one of those players who has a reputation, has a price tag, there's interest there, and if they can generate some cash, it would be with someone like him. And like I say, he's not a player that ideally they'd like to let go, I think, but given the circumstances, given the alternatives, it's one of these things that might happen. We don't know for sure if it's going to happen during the January window, but yes, I think it's a possibility. Good man, Alex. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Of course, Alex will be with us for the final on Sunday between